Chicago has a way of remembering violence, not through headlines, not through police reports, but through whispers. Whispers passed around gas stations, corner stores, and apartment hallways long after the sirens disappeared. On May 8th, 2026, those whispers started again. A man was gunned down near 75th and Harvard, shot so many times that witnesses stopped counting. Some people say 24 shots, others say 25, but the numbers weren't what made the story disturbing. It was who got killed, because the victim wasn't just another face from Chicago's South Side. To some, he was a survivor. To others, he was unfinished business. And after spending nearly a decade behind bars, many believed his past had finally caught up to him. This is the story of Wuga World Stain.
Breaking news, several people shot in Greater Grand Crossing. Our Chris Habermill live above that scene in CBS Skywatch near 75th and Princeton. Chris.
Hi, Marie. This is a couple of blocks west of Vincennes in the 300 block of 75th Street. And the first thing that was noticed when we pulled up on the scene is look at that sheer amount of evidence markers down there. Every single one of those yellow markers traditionally marks out shell casing or some piece of evidence that's important to the investigation. We counted 62 because they're all numbered down there. So forensics is on the scene here. 3 people were shot. Fire department transported 1 person. The second person was able to get to the hospital themselves, and unfortunately a third person succumbed to their injuries on the scene here. So circumstances behind this, details are very sketchy. A number of assailants unknown at this point. So we've got a lot of work to do to process this. So between South Harvard and about South Stewart, 75th Street is going to be closed off throughout the afternoon.
Long before podcasts, YouTube interviews, and viral drill documentaries, the name Stain already carried weight on the south side of Chicago. He was tied to Wugga World, a gangster disciple set based around 75th Street, a neighborhood surrounded by tension, old grudges, and memories people never truly let die. Back during the explosive rise of Chicago drill in the early 2010s, Stain was around some of the most recognizable names in the scene. Lil Jojo, Lil Mister, Rico Reckless, the kind of names that still echo through drill culture today. Stain had 5 bodies at the time of his death. His victims were Manny from Face World in 2011, True from Face World 2014, Juju Face World 2014. That would actually be the body that would send him to prison. Polo the Don from Dog Pound in 2015, and Thomas Dwayne, who was innocent, also in 2015. But unlike rappers who escaped the streets through fame, Stain's story seemed frozen in place, because while the music scene around him exploded, he disappeared for years, and eventually people started asking the same question: what happened to Stain? Then came the rumors: a shooting, a prison sentence, a face hit by bullets, a war between neighborhoods already soaked in blood, and suddenly his absence started making sense. According to reports and stories that circulated through Chicago's drill scene, the case that sent Stain to prison involved a shooting tied to the ongoing conflict between Wugga World and Face World. One name repeatedly surfaced in discussions online: Juju from Face World. The details were murky, conflicting, half hidden behind street politics and silence. But one thing kept appearing in interviews and conversations: someone had allegedly been shot in the face. And not long after, Stain was arrested. In September of 2015, police reportedly chased him through the south side of Chicago after connecting him to a violent case in Inglewood. Authorities initially pushed serious accusations, the type of charges that can erase a person's entire future. But eventually, he was sentenced in connection to a shooting case and disappeared into the prison system for nearly 10 years. And in Chicago, 10 years changes everything. People die, blocks change, alliances shift, friends become enemies, enemies become ghosts. But when Stain finally came home around late 2024, something felt different. He wasn't hiding. He started doing interviews, showing up in vlogs, dropping music again. Tracks like Part Ways and Die Time began circulating online. He even embraced a new phrase after his release, "No more free Stain." But for some people, those words sounded less like freedom and more like a countdown.
Us nigga, we gonna jump y'all gate.
In front of gate jumping and chain, this real. We might jump you for your we might jump you for your camera, we might jump you for your money, we might jump you for your work. We jumping everything. On front of you ain't fucking on front of your ass ain't at the table eating with us, your ass on the menu. On front of Gray. Shout out to the all of shit. Look, it's a lot of shit on that menu. On front of make us put something else on that menu.
We finna eat a lot.
Make us put something else on that menu.
Tell Bump Drop Dinner Time, we finna eat a lot.
We finna eat a lot. On front of Gray. Free little flat. On front of Gray.
330 chase on front of.
Oh, reneged on us, bro. Hey, look, you reneged on us on front of Gray on the couch. We might put your ass on the porch or on the curb. It depends on how phone the pull it. We need the porch, so we might put you on the curb. Bro, we ain't even playing. Look, playtime over with. We weren't there playing in the first place on front of Gray.
You did 9 to 10 years straight, right?
Yeah.
And,
9.5.
And we could talk about it because you already got convicted of it, but you was charged for shooting somebody in the face.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Can you break down that story or how much you can say?
Shit. I went over there to defuse the situation.
I think he like a hero.
I went over there to defuse the
I'm sure there's some people that disagree with that, but yeah.
I'm saying I think he like a hero.
I went over there to defuse the situation. Got hectic.
He should be looked at like a hero, like he did something good, you know what I'm saying? For the community,
man,
right.
So right now I still protect the community.
Wait, okay. There was a situation between what, like some of your friends and another group of people?
One of my homies and somebody else.
Okay.
But real shit, went over there to defuse the situation. Dude had his heat out the whole time, so shit. I'm talking to him, still trying to defuse the situation. He did what he did and shit. I'm still here.
So he upped it on you, but then you just managed to have a better shot?
When I popped up on him, he already hit it up. But I'm back.
And you was facing 107 years?
Yeah.
And what did they charge you with initially?
Murder, 2 attempts murder, and aggravated high speed or some shit.
And so, okay, the shooting happens, and then what? Do you just go back to the crib and just wait for them to come get you eventually?
I got put up. I was on the run for like a month.
Oh, okay. What was that month like?
Hell, shit. Like, motherfucker couldn't even think straight, I ain't gonna lie. Couldn't even think straight, but like I say, I'm a good adapter. I'm able to adapt to any situation I'm put in.
After nearly a decade in prison, many expected Stain to move carefully, stay low, avoid attention, keep his distance from old problems. But Chicago doesn't always let people walk away from their past, especially when the past is tied to years of violence. The more he appeared online, the more conversations started resurfacing. Old wars, old names, old funerals. And in drill culture, visibility can become dangerous because every interview, every live stream, every music video can remind people of things they never forgot. Still, Stain looked confident after his release, like somebody determined to reclaim lost time. But beneath the music and internet clips, there was another reality. Chicago was changing. The city had become even more unpredictable than before. Shootings happening in broad daylight. Retaliation moved fast, and social media turned street rumors into public spectacle within minutes. Then came May 8th, 2026, a Friday afternoon, the kind of day that starts normal until suddenly it doesn't.
Wheeler, the deceased, according to the doctor, might be possibly 12 to 24 rounds in his body, numerous locations. I got a list of them, but I'll give it to the paper care.
Alright, 10-4. Nope, I don't need them. Alright, 715 for information, 715.
715.
Alright, you're over at 75 in Harvard. Are we holding you on the crime scene over there?
Let me double check this. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm here. You can put me here.
You're clear. Okay.
The shooting happened near 75th and Harvard, inside the same area tied closely to Wugga World. According to reports, multiple armed men stepped out of a sedan and opened fire. Witnesses described complete chaos, gunshots ripping through the block, people running, cars stopping in the middle of the street. By the time it was over, 3 men had been hit, but one victim suffered catastrophic injuries. Police say the 31-year-old man was hit more than 24 times. Evidence markers flooded the area near and inside a food mart. The scene looked less like a random shooting and more like an execution. The victim was rushed to the hospital, but he didn't survive.
Let's start with some breaking news here at 4 o'clock. Shots fired in a store on the city's far south side. It happened just before 1 o'clock. Good afternoon to you. I'm Lourdes Duarte. Andrea Medina is live at that scene near West 75th and Harvard with the latest on what we know so far. Andrea.
Hi, Lourdes. Well, the scene is still very active here, and throughout the afternoon, we've seen investigators going in and out of A&J Food Market, collecting evidence and trying to piece together exactly what happened. Now, we counted at least 58 evidence markers outside the store. It's still unclear whether the shooting started inside or outside the market, or whether any of those involved were customers or employees. Details are still limited at this hour, but we are hearing 3 people were shot, and fire officials say at least 1 person was transported to the hospital in critical condition. A woman we spoke with says she was on her way to the store to pick up snacks, and he comes here several times a week for fresh produce and other everyday items. She says it's upsetting to see this kind of violence at a neighborhood store so many people rely on.
Frustrated because, like, why? And inside the market, it's a school right here, literally right there. That's just ridiculous.
In that school she's talking about, Harvard Elementary, is just steps away from the scene, and actually dismissal was just about 15 minutes ago. So a lot of those kids and their families came across this shooting scene here and had, of course, lots of questions about what happened. Now, at this time, the circumstances leading up to the shooting remain unclear. Police have not said whether anyone is in custody. This is a developing situation, and once we learn more, we'll be sure to let you know.
And before authorities officially released the name, the internet already believed it knew who it was: Stain. Suddenly, social media exploded. Posts spread across Chicago pages within minutes. Some reacted with shock. Others treated it like another chapter in a war that never ended. And maybe the most disturbing part of all was how familiar it felt. Because in Chicago drill culture, stories like this don't end when someone goes to prison. Sometimes they just pause.
Police have been here for much of the afternoon investigating this shooting, and based on the number of evidence markers we're seeing on the ground, as many as 80 shots were fired here. This shooting happening around early afternoon near 75th and Harvard, apparently right in front of a convenience store. The Chicago Fire Department confirming 3 people were shot. 1 was pronounced dead on scene, another victim drove or was driven to a hospital, and a 3rd victim was transported by ambulance. The genders, ages, and conditions of those victims unknown at this hour. As I mentioned, there was clearly a lot of gunfire. It's not just right in front of the store, but up and down the block as well. And at one point, we did see police bringing evidence markers inside the store, so it's unclear if perhaps there was gunfire inside as well. What led to all of this is still being investigated, but a sprawling crime scene right now, and it's worth mentioning this all happening about half a block away from an elementary school during the day as class was in session, so this is obviously alarming to those families as well. I talked to a teacher off camera a few moments ago who said that the school did go on lockdown right after that gunfire happened.
Right now, many questions still remain unanswered. Who were the shooters? Was this retaliation, a setup, an old grudge resurfacing after years? Or was it something nobody saw coming? Police continue investigating the shooting, but in neighborhoods shaped by silence and fear, answers don't always come easily, especially when people are afraid to talk. And the deeper you look into Chicago's drill history, the more patterns start appearing. Rappers surviving prison only to die shortly after returning home. Old conflicts resurfacing to disappear. Entire generations trapped in cycles that seem impossible to escape. For some people, Stain's death was shocking. For others, it felt inevitable. Now another name has been added to Chicago's long and tragic drill legacy. Another memorial. Another crime scene. Another story surrounded by rumors, pain, and unanswered questions. But somewhere on the south side tonight, people are still talking, still replaying the details, still trying to understand how it happened. And maybe the scariest part of all is knowing this story probably isn't over yet. Alright y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's the crazy story of Wugga World Stain, man. He was only free, almost 2 years from doing a 9-year bid, and unfortunately lost his life, man. Hey, get in that comment section, let me know what y'all think. Drillers and trappers, we outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!